I want to get through the Department of Education. Basically, the Department of Education prevents, in my opinion, prevents American students from becoming smarter, and we see that in the results. Carl, how could you make such a blanket statement? It's easy. Listen. It's obvious that our kids have gotten dumber. I mean, it's just obvious. And then you add the lockdowns, the COVID lockdowns onto that, and our kids got even dumber as a result of that, as well as they got into the trans fad. They became angry, anxious, depressed. I mean, overwhelmingly so. This was well documented as a result of the COVID lockdowns, and a lot of kids simply did not return to school as well. And the Department of Education, consider who's running this Department of Education, mostly a bunch of left-leaning bureaucrats that are running these institutions, operating as a fourth branch of the federal government of the United States of America. And all they want to do is infiltrate those bureaucracies and impose their woke ideology from on high. And what they do is a lot of these schools that may take poorer kids or just take any federal dollars, any type of federal funding whatsoever, they start dictating what these schools can learn or teach and what they should do. When you consider DEI, when you consider CRT, you run into young ladies like Ortiz here, Alicia Ortiz, and people are going to treat them a certain way. People are going to treat them differently. They're scared of DEI. They're scared of CRT. They're scared of being called racist. So when you impose all this stuff, upon people in different schools and communities nationwide, this is what happens. Nobody wants to say anything to. I guarantee you, she's in Hartford, Connecticut. That's hardly Puerto Rico. All right. So I guarantee you got people that just simply don't want to say anything to her. And so they'll just let her pass, let her by. Oh, yeah. I mean, we consider this reparations. Right. That's the way it sounds silly, but that's the way these people think. So instead, we have 50 different states. We have 50 different laboratories. Let them compete. I understand that there needs to be some type of nationalized measure or test, and we do have that, SAT, ACT, so on, etc., to determine where people stand when it comes to scholastics. Keep that, and you allow that to determine if people, maybe they want to go to college, maybe they don't, but you can use that to see where states score. But we see this happen all the time. I mean, right here in the state of Florida, I can tell you in the surrounding counties, I can tell you what counties are good for education, which counties are worse. And we got some pretty good schools in the state of Florida, but I can tell you there's a lot of blue counties that don't do nearly as well as the red counties. And so oftentimes you'll find people that'll specifically move from different states. And when they move from these different states, they'll make sure that they move into the red areas, even if they're liberal as all get out, because they want their kid to have the best education possible. We should do that for states. If your state stinks, if you're gonna allow an illiterate child to go through honors courses and graduate that child, and that child gets to go to the University of Connecticut in Hartford, maybe you shouldn't get federal dollars. Just leave it to the state so people can leave.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.